Hi everyone! Today we're going to be installing a Dinan muffler onto my F80 BMW M3. And I'm kind of smirking because this is going to be the third exhaust setup on this car for me. As you can recall, you can see it right above. My first exhaust setup was an Active Autowerke signature exhaust, which I had for a couple of weeks only, and I ended up not liking, so I sold it. The second option, you can also see it right above, was an Active Autowerke Midpipe paired with my competition pack muffler. While this was an improvement over the full signature exhaust, it still wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So today I'm installing this Dinan muffler onto my Active Autowerke Midpipe. I found this muffler on Craigslist for an amazing deal, so I couldn't pass it up. It comes with all the installation hardware. It clamps directly onto the Active Autowerke Midpipe, so this should be a fairly straightforward install. One of my concerns is, you see how close these BMS exhaust tips are to my new diffuser? That was kind of concerning, so hopefully the new ones are actually better. Going down, before we actually talk about anything else, let's see how well the exhaust paint is holding up. And as you can see, it's actually peeling. It's probably my fault because I didn't prep it as well as I should, but it's only peeling from the bottom. From the back, it looks fairly okay, well, minus this guy. So I would probably, if I were to keep it, I would probably have to redo this one more time. So now, how are we going to tackle it? You see these two clamps holding the midpipe to my exhaust. These two clamps will come undone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slide them down onto the midpipe so I can easily just slide in my, my new Dinan muffler. Then going down this, we're going to be unclipping this exhaust valve cable. We're also going to be unbolting these guys up there, the exhaust hangers from the body of the car. And on the other side, obviously, it's exactly the same. All right, so I'm under the car now, and we're going to be undoing these 15mm bolts. And we're not undoing them all the way. We're just going to loosen them up just enough so we can slide them onto the midpipe, just like that. Perfect. The exhaust is now separated. It is resting on the hangers. Since this exhaust is really heavy and I don't feel like bench pressing it at this moment, so I'm going to use this motorcycle jack to lift it up. By the way, I'm going to link this in the description, and this tool, really, really awesome stuff. Let's put a towel here so it doesn't scratch up my peeling exhaust. Release the tension, put it in reverse. Now we're going to undo the hangers. And the hangers are held using 13mm bolts. Also be sure to remove the exhaust valve cable. And onto the other side. So once again, everything is undone. The clamps are undone, and if you look up here, the bolts are removed. All right, this is going to be a fun one. You ready? I feel like we've done this before. Okay, what have we here? Let's compare the competition exhaust to the Dinan exhaust. So, real quick, the competition exhaust, you have these pipes that are always going through some sort of a muffler. So when the valves are closed, there's nothing that goes through this baffle. Everything is going through the middle chamber, and then it escapes through probably the middle tips. When the valves are open, there's some exhaust that circulates through here, but most of it goes through this section, and here there's a little baffle probably inside right over here that provides some muffling. The Dinan exhaust is a bit different. The exhaust flows from here, then with the valves closed, and the valves are right over here, it goes through this middle muffler here and it escapes this way. With the valves open, there are some exhaust gases that flow through here, but everything is pretty much straight piped all the way to the back. So the main difference between the ZCP and the Dinan is the following. When the valves are closed, they're both muffled in a similar way. Yeah, the stock muffler is slightly bigger, but they're muffled in a similar way. When the valves are open, you pretty much have almost a straight pipe exhaust versus sort of a muffled chamber right here towards the end. So I'm hoping this provides me the more amplified sound I was looking for. So this is the part where I tell you now it's time to move the exhaust valves from this one to that one. However, since I bought this exhaust used, I guess maybe it must have sat somewhere for a long time, the exhaust flaps are frozen shut. I actually spent a lot of time off camera trying to open them up. I used a lot of WD-40 and I opened them up. However, it's very hard to move them. So I'm afraid that if I put these controllers on them, I will damage them when I try to open and close the flaps. I'm also hoping that once I put the exhaust on the car, the heat from the exhaust will expand the piping, thus give these flaps more room to kind of to move around. Once I see that, I'm gonna swap these controllers over. But for now, I'm gonna install it without the valve controllers. The only thing we're gonna swap are these hangers, but that's pretty straightforward. All right, so we're going to put the exhaust on the lift. Make sure that it clears everything and start lifting. We can move this clamp here. This one slides in, and this one we should be able to slide in as well. Just like that. A lot easier than I thought. I can actually put the bolts here with my hand just to attach them a little bit. And we'll attach these hangers as well. All right, I also tighten the other side. The last step is to tighten and even out these clamps. And just like that, everything is tightened. Let's bring this down. We're gonna start it up and take it for a spin. And we're off. This seems awfully familiar. It's the third time I'm testing an exhaust. Oh, the burbles. As I mentioned earlier, the valves are stuck permanently open. I'm hoping that the heat from the exhaust will loosen it up. Let's take it for a spin with the valves open. So far so good. Not much louder than competition pack exhaust, yet still a bit louder, which is awesome. And I've got to say, at idle, and I'm going to show it to you later, but I love the idle sound. Burbles sound pretty much, there's actually no, burbles are a bit louder. Oh yeah. whip it around and get on the highway. Car feels fantastic. I'm already sensing zero drone. All right, we're cruising on the highway, 60 miles an hour. No drone. This is great. And I'm back. I just had lunch and I started reflecting on my exhaust, and I've decided that I will not keep it. 2 reasons. 1, the exhaust flaps. I just don't want to deal with trying to fix them. It's fixable, but I just don't want to deal with that. 2, the tips do not stick out far enough. And let me show you actually. So this is what they look like. And from the side, they look something like this. So what I'm worried about is that my expensive diffuser might get damaged by the exhaust gases hitting it. And since I'm removing it, let's make it fun. It is exactly 2:04. Let's see how quickly I can remove this and put the new one back on. Removed in 4 minutes. $218. So that means that in 14 minutes, you can swap out your exhaust. That's assuming you have clamps and everything else. But if a shop charges you $200 to do this job, walk away. It's an hour tops, 30 minutes if you're using power tools and you have a lift. So I guess we're back to normal. I wasted a couple of hours of my time, but that's okay because you enjoyed it, and actually so did I. I love wrenching. Let me know what you think of my decision down below. But also let me know if you have any questions or comments about this install. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. I'm already thinking about my next muffler solution, and I think I have an idea what that's gonna be. Bye. Also be sure to remove the exhaust connection. Also be sure to remove the exhaust flap. Also be sure to remove the exhaust valve. Also be sure to remove the exhaust valve cable.